Because it took us 7 generations to get here, it may take 7 generations to actually see true reconciliation happen. I'm a little more optimistic myself.
Former Truth and Reconciliation Commissioner Wilton Littlechild reflecting 6 years after the TRC released its final report. Out of the 94 calls to action, Littlechild estimates only 9 or 10 have been answered.
Reconciliation is not going to be easy. It's not going to be a checkbox.
The Truth and Reconciliation Commission was created to expose the realities of residential schools, which operated in Canada for more than 100 years. Children were stolen from their families, forced into schools operated by the Canadian government and churches. Over 150,000 were taken. Thousands were physically, emotionally, and sexually abused. Thousands died, never returning home. Littlechild, who attended 3 different residential schools, spent years hearing disturbing testimony from thousands of survivors.
Many times I was hearing my own story of abuse being told in front of me. So that was very emotionally difficult.
Littlechild acknowledges some important recommendations have been addressed, like an inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and an Indigenous languages bill. But not everyone accepts the status quo.
6 years, 94, they should have been all implemented by now.
They tend to be focusing on the stuff that you can do by legislation or law or policy without the corresponding radical changes that are needed in the actions in terms of funding and policy making and that kind of thing.
The recent discovery of thousands of unmarked graves at residential schools across the country has renewed calls to implement the TRC's 94 calls to action. Littlechild believes the discoveries will finally put speculation to rest.
Where there has been denial that this didn't happen, I think there's new information that will enlighten those that are at that view.
Littlechild, Commanda, and Palmater all hope Canadians won't see the upcoming National Day for Truth and Reconciliation as a holiday, rather a day to recognize the wrongs of the past. In Ottawa, Nigel Newlove, City News.
If you're interested in watching, the entire 2015 reading of the Truth and Reconciliation Report is on the CityNews YouTube channel. And CityNews will be bringing you coverage all week ahead of National Day for Truth and Reconciliation happening this Thursday. Our coverage begins with Breakfast Television, bringing you important stories from Indigenous leaders and organizations starting at 8:30 a.m. Then after City News, a special airing of Runs Through Their Blood, A Life Impacted, will premiere at 7 p.m.